Hey guys, today I'm going to be showing you how to make Chinese shrimp stuffed eggplant. It's a really classic dim sum dish in China. First, we're going to show you how to make the filling, which is traditionally shrimp and pork. I'm going to be using shrimp, leeks, and red bell pepper. So starting with your shrimp, make sure you're using fresh shrimp. You're going to take the shell off and devein them, put them in a food processor. I'm going to use one super chili for some spice, but you can leave this out if you don't like spicy food. Rough chop that, add it to the food processor. We're going to add 1 teaspoon of sugar, 1 teaspoon of salt, 1 teaspoon of sesame oil, 1 teaspoon of shaoxing wine, which is a Chinese cooking wine. If you can't find this, you can use sherry wine. And 1 egg we're going to crack right into the food processor, along with 1 teaspoon of cornstarch to help bind it all together, and 1 clove of smacked garlic. I'm also going to add in just the whites from 1 bunch of scallions, and then pulse everything together, and this is going to make a paste that we're going to end up stuffing inside of our eggplant. Next, add 1 cup of chopped cilantro, give it a few more pulses, and we're going to set it in a bowl. And then we're going to end up cutting and cooking 1 bell pepper and 1 leek. This you don't want to really add in raw, so we're going to slice the leek down the middle, cut it into really thin half moons, set it to the side. Then for the red pepper, cut the top and the bottom off, slice it down the middle, take this little bit of seeds out. Then we're going to cut the pepper into thin strips and then dice up those little strips. We're going to end up cooking this, then cooling it down, and then once it's cool, we'll add it to the rest of our shrimp filling. And then we'll teach you how to make the sauce and how to cook the eggplant. So just a little bit of oil in a hot pan, add your leeks and your pepper all at the same time, saute it for probably about 3 minutes, and when everything is nice and soft, dump it into a bowl and put it in the refrigerator right away to cool it down. Next, we'll be getting our sauce ready. Mince 1 clove of garlic. Add it to a bowl or a pot. Next, we're going to add our sesame oil, our soy sauce. This is oyster sauce. If you want to make a vegetarian version, there is such a thing as vegetarian oyster sauce. It's a little bit gloppy, so just be careful when you're pouring it into your bowl. We're also going to add sugar for our sauce mixture. And my secret ingredient is a little bit of homemade chili oil, but this is optional. And 1 cup of stock. You can use chicken stock, beef stock, vegetable stock, whichever you prefer. I happen to have beef stock, so that's what I'm going to use. And then in Chinese cooking, slurries are used to thicken sauces. Usually they're made from cornstarch, so a slurry is always going to be equal parts cornstarch and water. So in this case, I'm using 2 teaspoons of cornstarch, and I'm going to add 2 teaspoons of water. And it's going to clump up immediately, but if you just kind of stir it up, it'll become a nice thin consistency. To get a slurry to activate, you need to get your liquid boiling first. So dump everything from the sauce into a pot and start bringing it to a boil. In the meantime, my pepper filling is cold enough to mix into my shrimp filling. So we'll combine that, and that's going to go in the refrigerator to chill while everything else gets ready. As you can see, the sauce has started to simmer. Time to add your slurry. Don't dump everything all in at once, only pour in about half. Then wait for the sauce to come up to a boil again, and you'll see it kind of like activate and get thick. So add more cornstarch if you want it a little bit thicker. Do a little bit less if you prefer a thinner sauce. And once that's as thick as you would like, set it to the side while we prepare our eggplant. So these are Asian eggplants. They have the least amount of seeds and are the least bitter. What we're going to be doing is slicing them on 2-inch thick rings that are kind of on a bias. So you'll get more surface area when you cook them. And what we're going to end up doing is taking these oblong shapes and placing a slice through the middle, kind of like you're cutting a sandwich. But you're not going to cut all the way through, so it's kind of like you can fold it open, and that's how we're going to actually stuff the eggplant. So each oblong ring, make an incision in the middle and slice almost all the way through, but not quite. If you end up slicing through, it's not a big deal. You'll just have to be a little bit more careful when you're cooking and flipping the eggplant. But this eggplant's really nice. You don't have to, peel it or salt it. It's really tender, delicate flesh. It's really nice to use. So once your eggplant's all cut, I like to put about a teaspoon of salt over the whole mixture and cover it with water to keep it from oxidizing. In the meantime, I'm going to show you how to do a quick scallion garnish. So you stack all the greens from your scallions and then slice thin on an angle all the way down the scallions. And if you cover them with cold water, then drain that water, the scallions will kind of curl up and get nice and crispy. Next, we're going to take our nice cold filling and stuff our eggplants. So take each slice out of the water, kind of hold the 2 flaps open with one thumb, and spoon in a little bit of filling. It's okay if it kind of hangs out over the edges. Anything that falls off you can just eat, or it doesn't really matter. So go ahead and stuff all your eggplants. This is what it should look like. I like to set it on a paper towel to get some of the excess moisture away. The next step is going to be to sear the filling side, and it kind of seals it into the eggplant. So put it cut side down, filling side down, and basically we're going to get it nice and golden brown, and then we're going to turn it over, and we're going to get both the tops and the bottom of the eggplant slices nice and crispy. Once they get seared on both sides, they won't be able to oxidize anymore, so you'll be able to just set them to the side and save them for leftovers. This is a 2-step cooking process. So this is the first step, searing all of the eggplant. The second step is traditionally putting the eggplant in a steamer and steaming it for 10 minutes. But I'm doing this kind of the easy one-pan method where you'll treat it almost like a pot sticker, and once the eggplant's all seared, you put some liquid into the base of the pan and cover it, and that'll create enough steam to finish cooking the eggplant and giving it a nice silky texture. So I've gotten all sides of my eggplant nice and brown. I'm going to take them out of the pan and get the rest of the eggplant that wouldn't fit. I'm going to do the same steps to those. As you can see, they can just sit to the side like this. If you had a big party, you could prepare them up to that step and put them in the refrigerator, and then the next day just continue heating them up. So to finish, I'm going to put the browned eggplant in a pan and cover it with about half a cup of water. And then you're going to steam it until all the liquid has evaporated, or about 8 minutes. And then there should be done. So these are really good served with rice. I just made plain old steamed jasmine rice. If you'd like to plate that on the bottom, or you can have it on the side, either way. I like to put my rice on the bottom of the plate, put my stuffed eggplants on top. As you can see, they've softened up quite a bit. Then we're going to drizzle our sauce all over the top. If it gets a little thick, you can just reheat it again, and it should thin out. But put as much sauce as you'd like. I like mine pretty coated. Then I'm going to do a sprinkle of black and white sesame seeds for a little bit of crunch and texture. and some of those nice, thin, crunchy green scallions on top. And that's your dish, your shrimp stuffed eggplant. Also, if you have any chili oil, a little bit of homemade chili oil drizzled on the top is a little secret move. Anyways, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.